It's Thursday, July 31st. I'm Adam Walsh, and this is The Signal. Today, this show, it often highlights the building blocks of community, and today we have an excellent case study on how it is done. We will speak with folks connected to the province's new Jamaican Association, plus we've got the deets on their big launch. Didan, Wedderburn, how you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
So before we introduce everyone else, let's get those details out there right away. Is the launch, is it everything ready for the gala? I've seen it posted on social media.
Yes,
so it
everything is locked and loaded, ready to take off. August 2nd, 6 p.m. at the Lantern, 35 Barnes Road. We are just like popping with excitement to have this just show up and everyone come out. And it's not just the Jamaicans. We have all the Caribbean residents and people from Africa and Asia. Everyone is coming. I just hope anyone who's listening is grabbing their ticket now.
Yeah, I'm popping with excitement. How else are you feeling about it? To have this association and what it means?
It feels unreal if I'm playing because it's been a long time coming. 6 years ago when I came here, I had hopes of forming community, finding community. And it took a while, lots of false starts, and now we're finally here.
Well, congratulations on that. And we'll, so folks, we're going to expand on this conversation today, right? It's a conversation about, yes, the start of this new Provincial Jamaican Association, and then how that fits into community for everyone in Newfoundland and Labrador. Olivia Newland-Johnson, tell us about yourself.
My name is Olivia Newland-Johnson, as you said earlier. I am the vice president of the association, and I've been in Canada for like 2 years now.
2 years,
and I'm very excited for the launch of this association. It's literally a dream. Now we can finally have our organized community system to help support different Caribbean nations and persons from Jamaica. So
Okay, well, welcome. Tricia Pinnock, how are you doing?
I am fine, thank you. I am Tricia-Gaye Pinnock. I am the event coordinator in the organization. And I'm from Kingston, Jamaica. I've been in Newfoundland 11 years now. Yeah.
11 years.
Yeah.
What's it been like seeing how much growth have you seen for the Jamaican population and the Caribbean population in Newfoundland in 11 years?
Wow. It has been a massive growth.
Yeah.
I remember when I first came here, I could maybe count on one hand how many Black person you will see in the community here in Newfoundland. But now when you see like 320 Jamaicans and you have different persons from the Caribbean, different part of the Caribbean, it's amazing. It's really amazing, yeah.
Nice. Natasha, Sutherland, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
All right, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I actually am from Newfoundland originally, but grew up in Calgary, Alberta. And my husband is Jamaican, so that's how I am part of the association, member of the association. So he was born in Oakville in Ontario, but his parents are of Jamaican heritage. And I also run the LS Real Estate Group, and we are sponsoring the gala.
All right, excellent. So we've got, member, sponsor, all talking community. What for Jamaican culture and Newfoundland and Labrador culture? I can think there are probably some interesting similarities, also some interesting differences. Who wants to kind of weigh in on that? I'm kind of looking at you, Didan, first, but anyone can jump in.
Well, one of my favorite things to talk about that people don't realize we have in common is when it's Christmas time and the murmuring starts, it looks just like Jamaican Jankuno.
Really? All right. Tell me more.
So we have this similar looking, we call it pitchy patchy, where we take different pieces of cloth and we make a costume. The faces aren't visible and you go from house to house playing music, singing songs, scaring little kids and collecting money. That's the difference. In Newfoundland, you collect food and liquor. But in Jamaica, it's mostly they collect money and now it's evolved to be like a performance that we feature at community events, but throughout the years, the decades, the hundreds of years, it was a part of the tradition, moving from home. Every community has its own masquerade.
Masquerade, Pichipachi, you said.
Yeah, Pichipachi is one of the characters.
One of the characters,
yes.
Okay. All
So
right.
we have different characters, like the horsehead man, the belly woman. I mean, one with a woman dressed in a wedding dress. So many different characters, but it's the same concept. And so when I saw it here, I was like, yeah, we go way back.
Yeah, you're like, oh, wait a minute. This is kind of the same but different.
Yes.
Anyone else on this tradition?
All I know is that when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I used to be terrified of that.
Well, I mean, that's, I think, a normal reaction.
Yes, and I think even as an adult, I would not be, I would not want somebody to try to scare me in those costumes because it's like Halloween. It's very scary and they're in your face, and I'm like, no. But it's a big thing in Jamaica, and also as islanders, we have that in common. Jamaica is an island, and also Newfoundland and Labrador, and I think islanders have so many things in common, like the vibe, we're both surrounded by water, so we get it, we understand each other, and yeah.
Tricia, thoughts?
We can talk about the codfish and trade with the white rum.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I remember back then where I was operating a grocery store, and I will see Newfoundland, Labrador, and I'm like, okay, where is this place? But then when I got introduced to Newfoundland and Labrador, and I would say to people like, hey, I'm going Newfoundland, they're like, where is that? So we have the trade with the saltfish and the white rum. Yeah.
So then for you to go from working and, just looking at the label and being like, oh, so that's where this is from, but maybe not completely realizing.
Yeah.
But then being here, what was that like to actually 11 years ago when it's like, so this is the place
This
that's on
is
the label
place,
for all those
yes,
years.
Yes. And even so, like, even when my mom or even when I'm going home, mommy will say, remember to take saltfish for us, codfish, salted cod. Take salted cod back home for us. But yeah, it's really, to see the label and to actually in the province, it's really a big thing for me.
Yeah. Were you disappointed with what we do with salt cod here compared to all the things that Jamaicans do for cooking it?
No. Not at all. Because even so, like growing up, they usually say the saltfish head is very ugly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I finally got a chance to see what saltfish head looks like, I'm like, no, it is not ugly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I am fine with it. We cook it and eat it. Newfoundlanders, we screeching with it, right?
Yeah.
So
And
we
boil
just
the heck
work
out
with
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we work with it.
For Jamaican cuisine for salt cod, what's the range of some of the different dishes that?
Well, the most important one. So if you want to become an honorary Newfoundlander, you get screeched in with Jamaican rum. If you want to enjoy the Jamaican national dish, you eat ackee with saltfish. So we are intricately linked for all eternity with our two cultures. So our most popular way to use the saltfish, the salted cod, is in our national dish. And someone might be wondering, what's ackee?
Yeah.
It's a fruit, it's yellow, and it happens to be on the list of top 10 poisonous foods in the world.
Interesting.
It's probably part of our magic, And you can find it here locally, not the poison part.
No, not the poison part.
But you can find ackee in the supermarkets here. It's canned, and we make a stir fry with it. People who have visited Jamaica, I assume it looks just like scrambled eggs. But it doesn't taste anything like scrambled eggs. We should probably hear what Natasha thinks of.
Come on, Natasha.
Yeah,
So growing up, having when did you first encounter ackee? Like what later in life?
Yeah, I was
as a
probably be a teenager.
Okay.
So before I met my husband, I had a lot of friends who were Jamaican as well in Calgary and kind of grew up in the communities. I think growing up in Calgary, I actually felt more connected to some of my friends from Jamaica and from the Caribbean because we had more similarities, kind of as mentioned in the cultures, compared to Alberta, which I know sounds insane because it's like Alberta is in Canada, but just the way that things were always based around food and music and family, and I always felt more at home. So, but when it comes to the saltfish and ackee, I actually thought it was scrambled eggs because it's exactly how it looks, and you also eat it for breakfast. So that's the other thing. It's like a breakfast meal. So you go and you have your breakfast, and you're just like, oh, this looks like, not at all, but it is delicious when it's prepared properly.
So what's the flavor like?
Well, you have the saltiness of the fish. The fruit, it's got like a little bit of sweetness, not too much. And then I think it also depends on who's preparing it, how it's prepared. Like I've had it with some peppers, so it's like a little bit spicier. And the texture actually kind of is almost like a scrambled egg too. So it's like yellow, kind of fluffy, and almost has that texture. But then it's more like a salty, spicy, sweet. So.
Well, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's delicious.
So if we're looking at the launch this weekend and thinking of building an association, how much work goes into this? Because we talk about folks, it's 2 years. Didan was 6 years. 11 years. There's a lot of time that folks. You have a diaspora. You have a community that's living in a place, but then to kind of interdigitate enough to start an association. How much work is it?
A lot. So, but thank God we had a WhatsApp group, already established WhatsApp group with over almost 200 people. So with that, we could, have our Zoom meetings, and we could get everybody together, sharing our ideas that, guys, we need an organized association so we could tap into government resources and funding so we can actually support our community even more. So it was a lot of work. And also in Jamaica, I have a charity or a foundation there. So to get that registered, it would be a similar process here, but different policy, different place. So to find out where to start, get the registration process going, how to do it, it wasn't clear online. So we had to do a lot of diving in and researching, and that took us some time. But thankfully, Didan and everybody came together, and it was good.
To be fair, there is the part where we come together as a community and we research, but the door was really unlocked when we were able to connect with the folks from the Office of Immigration and Multiculturalism. They really took us to the table and literally gave us like all the paperwork step by step and brought it through. But it's never just a one step or a one meeting or one set of people. A lot of people have been building into this. Even the WhatsApp group that Olivia mentioned, that got started because Tricia and I and 2 other Jamaican women decided in 2022 we need to find the rest of Jamaicans that are here. And so we, in honor of Jamaica's 60th Independence Day, we said we're going to have a day in the park. We didn't know anyone else, but anyone we knew, we said Jamaicans are meeting up to celebrate Independence Day in Boring Park. If you know a Jamaican, tell a Jamaican. And we spoke to our Newfoundlander friends. We said, if you know a Jamaican, tell a Jamaican. And we all showed up with food, kids, tables, mats, whatever, and just waited. And we just saw people crawling out from all the corners. And it was just like a bunch of strangers, a huge crowd of strangers. And of course, some people were shy because they had never met another Jamaican.
So that Tell a Jamaican thing really worked.
Yes.
yes.
And they showed up, some of them showed up with friends from other nationalities, other cultures. So it was a big vibe. We played back the games we played as kids. We had a lot of our little delicacies, the different foods we missed from home. Our kids were there to see what it's like when a crowd of Jamaicans come together. So it was building in that way. It started just by us wanting to be together, and then we realized, we need to support each other in ways that's beyond having a party in the park.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking of the organic WhatsApp group, and then thinking like, okay, we need We need to find out how many more folks are around. Where is everyone? So then for the ones who've been here for a while and hadn't been in contact, what was it like talking to them after you meet the connection? It's like, oh, I've been here 7 years. 7 years, and you didn't meet another Jamaican. Like, what was that realization like for them?
I mean, they were like in shock because it's like, normally when you see somebody from the Black community, you more think that they're from maybe Nigeria, Ghana, or stuff like that. So to know that, oh, they're from my roots, they're from my place. I mean, you know, they were excited. We could have certain conversation about our own culture and interact with each other here, help some who needed to be settled, who need certain information as to settle here in Newfoundland. We were able to interact, and they were really happy, and we were really happy too.
Yeah. Yeah, when they start to realize, it's like, oh, wait, there's more folks, and we can have this cultural connection as part of this wider community connection that you just have for living in a place from day to day. So then, when you think of this, the WhatsApp group, what in the beginning as it started to grow? What's the conversation like in it?
I'm glad you brought that up because it was mostly about, oh, there are plantings at Walmart on Kelsey.
Yeah.
Most of it was food.
Yeah.
It was about food. People don't realize that homesickness is often tied to food because we attach childhood memories, certain fond feelings to the foods that we grew up eating. But Natasha stepped in, and Natasha was like, it was just at the beginning of this year, and she dropped a post and she was like, guys, I would really love to see a whole lot more Jamaican events happening here. And, you know, the government has these different grants and stuff that help to promote multiculturalism and stuff like that. And that just kicked off the conversation. It ignited Olivia, and Olivia was like, yes, let's do this. And instantly she started booking Zoom meetings, and Natasha was like, hey, you know, in Alberta, they have the Jamaican Canadian Association. In Ontario, they have the Jamaican Canadian Association. Maybe we could look at what they're doing and replicate it here. So all of that was when we stopped talking just about the food.
Yeah, I mean, food's the jumping off point, the building point. Then you have someone mention like, hey, extra activities, but that base though for the food bit, so important. Like to have culturally appropriate or important food connections. I even like back on my end, right? Like years ago, 2 decades ago, when I moved to Seoul, South Korea. Well, I was in a city south of it, and this one had very few things that like it was all Korean food, right? You would make a special trip up to Seoul just to buy a block of cheddar cheese. And I didn't even think I liked cheddar cheese that much back then, but like I'd come back with like a big block and more than I would ever, but it was just that connection, that taste that reminded me of home that I never ever realized would be so important. And it's just, I think that it's something interesting for folks to realize, to be away and then to have something again, and then also to see it build up. So like in the years, like since you've been here, or even in 2 years, are we seeing more? And Natasha, for you and your family, is more culturally appropriate food? Is more getting here now because of the higher numbers?
Yes, it is. Yeah, because I remember, for me, I would have to pack my stuff when I go home. Most of my stuff would be food coming back into Newfoundland. But now I don't have to worry about that. I can comfortably know that I can go into the store, pick up what I need to get, and prepare a Jamaican meal.
Yeah, so you don't have to go home with a suitcase, visit back in Jamaica with a suitcase inside a suitcase to unpack it, to put food in it, to come back. Okay.
Yes. So there's a lot of Jamaican food here in the supermarkets.
Yeah. My wife being Korean, I'm familiar with the concept of sometimes it comes back, like I look at what we're coming back from Korea with, I'm like, are we opening a shop? Is this what's happening? Because I feel like we are like all within rules and legalities, and we're not bringing anything we're not supposed to, and amounts, but still, I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember a custom officer asked me once coming in, like, you don't have this thing? And I'm like, nope.
Yeah. People take ketchup, like even something as simple as that. Like, so.
Because the flavor, the way it's seasoned is a little bit different.
Yeah, and like when it's something that's like that and it's different, it doesn't taste right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So big shout out to the African stores that supply us with all the Caribbean food. So
and also Sobeys and
Dominion
and Walmart.
Yes, all of them are getting on board. They are realizing
that
if they want to get our money, they need to stock our food.
Imagine that.
Yeah, Med Tropical and Wonderbo as well. Those African stores have been doing a good job for the community to get us our snapper.
Bringing in Easter buns and the traditional tasty cheese and that sort of thing. Yeah, they're listening to us, and even if they have to ship it in from Toronto, where all the Jamaican food is.
Yeah, where there's no
Yes.
shortage. Yeah.
Yes.
What are the what's the estimate on numbers here for the community? Like how big?
According to the government, it's about 300 and something.
20.
Yeah.
In 2021.
Yeah. But we have a feeling that there are many more. I find that when Newfoundlanders marry Jamaicans, the Jamaicans get absorbed in those families. And usually it is the spouses of the Jamaicans that come forward and join the community, and then later on add their Jamaican family members to say, hey, the Jamaicans are doing this. You need to join the group.
It's much bigger.
Yes, yes.
Natasha, I'm thinking about sponsorship too. Like we mentioned the gala coming up. But what's the conversation like around sponsoring something like this, and why do you think it's so important to have businesses obviously involved in sponsoring these types of activities?
Yeah, so I mean, in general, we all know that diversity is key, right? So as we're trying to grow Newfoundland as a province, a population, we need different voices at the table. I've always believed very strongly in that.
Yeah.
So being a part of this group, I mean, for my business in particular, it was a no-brainer to put my money where my mouth was.
Yeah.
But I think for other businesses too, it's people coming to this province, they're going to be working at companies, they're going to be part of the community, they're paying taxes, their kids are going to school here, they're trying to integrate and be part of something. And I think it's very important for businesses then to give back, to make sure these people feel welcome, and we can celebrate the diversity, we can celebrate these communities.
So this is from the business end, and then when we've talked about what the province is doing, and the help that you got, right? So it's like, we had this WhatsApp group, and then we're trying to figure out, then we had the recommendations of trying to do stuff, and then eventually we go to the province, and then they're like, actually, we will help. We're here to help with this.
Oh, they were so excited. Specifically, the first person from government I spoke to was Maggie Pinnock, who's the Director of Immigration Policy and Settlement, and her eyes lit up. She was like, yes, this is what we want, because they understand that belonging is core to retention, and we need that, right? If someone is here, they have a great job or whatever the case is, and they don't feel that sense of belonging, they might not stick around long. And they understand that it is within cultural community groups that we find that belonging. You get that soft landing where someone can show you where and how and why and when.
Yeah, and we've done shows on this too. The fact that Newfoundland and Labrador's retention rate for newcomers compared to the rest of the country is a lot lower. It's low, and I remember we had. Were you there for that show? We had Tony Fang in, the economist at MUN, Jaroslavsky chair, and Tony was just saying he talked about the numbers, and then he also talked about for different communities, it helps once you get a critical mass. And once you get some of these connections, right, whether, he didn't say association, but like once you have that type of a thing for folks who are coming in, maybe they'll stick around longer, because it is that feeling of like, okay, my culturally, so some of the food that I grew up with is here. There's some connections that for helping with whether it's housing or this or that, community celebrations, Independence Day, folks meeting in Bannerman Park, all of that, as opposed to just being an island to yourself sometimes, and then maybe not feeling a connection and wanting to find it in Toronto or somewhere else. It can be here. So where does stuff go now? We've got a gala this weekend, but what are the bigger? So where are we going with this association? What are some of the other thoughts on everything that an association gives and provides and is for?
Well, I can say my children spent half or most of their life in Japan. Yeah. And then coming to Newfoundland, it was a big priority for me to have them find a space where they can be confident in their cultural identity. And so that was why it was such a big priority for me to come together with others who share my culture, my background. And so for me, a big thing is to make sure that the children of Jamaicans, the children of Caribbean nationals can find a space where they have the same experiences with the parents growing up with the same sayings and the same food. Because sometimes you open your lunchbox and everyone's like, what's that? But when you're hanging out with kids who are eating the same thing, then you're like, yeah, I'm normal, I'm regular. It could be that you grew up listening to the same music because your parents play the same songs, or you take the same vacations, you understand the same traditions, like if there's a death in the family and that there's the 9 night, or all these different things. So I'm really focused on the children finding that sense of group identity and the group self-esteem. That part is big for me. I know Olivia is pretty bent on the settlement support for people coming in. So everybody's coming with different areas they want to focus on, but it's all under one vision of making us feel at one and stronger together. Yeah.
Why was that hard in Japan?
Come on, Adam. You know, been there, done
I don't
that.
want to assume.
So it's harder in Japan because when you have 126 million people and you probably have a city with one Jamaican, then it's pretty tough. In fact, I lived in Ibaraki, where there were no Jamaicans in my city, in the neighboring cities. And my family actually picked up and moved to Chiba because there was a city that had multiple Jamaican families. And these are the moves people will make, which is why the JCANL is important, because if someone comes here and they feel like, oh, I go to school and there are no other Jamaican kids, my kids go to school with other Jamaicans, you know, so they feel like, yeah, these are my people. So that is a big deal for someone like me.
And I mean, and not to dwell on the Japan part, but like there is that saying, the nail that sticks out gets hammered down, and there's a reason why they have that saying there.
Yes.
And so then, if there's any bit, yes, I found myself in a newsroom there speaking out a few times, and then having folks look at me.
Put in place, right? Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm speaking too much.
Yes.
Slightly too loudly.
Yes.
And it's not popular.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Oh no, I understand. So well, I'm glad things are expanding here.
Oh,
right?
Definitely. It's a beautiful thing.
So tell me a bit about the other bits because Didan's just explaining. So what else are folks coming to you for, and for the assistance that you're kind of putting up?
So for me, I want to use like my lived experience, right? So basically, when I was in Jamaica on Facebook Marketplace and other platforms to get somewhere to live, somewhere to rent, I have no idea what Newfoundland is about, but I need to get somewhere to rent within 2 months because my work permit is here. And I need to start my job. So as an association, we want to help newcomers.
Yes.
We want to create like a roadmap for them, so it will be way easier than what I went through. I moved like 4 or 5 times to find the perfect apartment or the perfect living situation for me. And I really would want the life of new students, especially coming from home, from their parents, sheltered. They're in a new environment. We want them to contact us. We want to make their lives easier. We don't want them to build the wheel all over again. We want to create something that works, a system that works, so that Caribbean national lives will be easy. And the association is here to provide that. And we want them to get registered and be a part of the vision. So,
like if you're a student, right? So if you're, let's say from Jamaica, a student, or coming somewhere for work, and your work is in, like, I don't know, or you're going to MUN, or you're working somewhere near Memorial University in St. John's, and then you go to someone, you say, and I've got a really great apartment lined up in Foxtrap, and everyone's like, oh, okay. I mean, Foxtrap is great, but how are you going to get back and forth? And so have an association to be like, maybe you should do you have a vehicle, right? Like those kinds of things that, like, some of it's Googleable, but also having a connection right away for someone to help you navigate that, massively important.
Yeah.
Right. No shade to Foxtrap, folks. I grew up at CBS, so I was going to say Gould's, but anyways, here we are. All right, so there's that side of it. What else?
So, like for me, when I first came into Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah, what was that like?
When I had somebody here who introduced me, another Jamaican who introduced me to Newfoundland and Labrador. So it was a little bit easier than anticipated. But however, over the years being here, I realized that you have other Jamaicans who will come in and have serious challenges, even just to even take the Metro bus.
Yeah.
They don't really know where to go and get a bus card to take the Metro bus. They don't know where to get off and stuff like that. So with having new Jamaicans coming in, new Caribbean people coming in, we'll be better able to help them navigate in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and also get settled, because there are certain stuff that you need to get in order to be settled in the province, and most persons, they do not know.
No.
So if we have an association going, then there are help here. They don't really have to come and feel like, oh my gosh, where am I? Why did I come to this place? Because at least they...
I'm feeling some passion here. I feel like we've gone back in time 11 years ago.
You know, they will have to feel like they're away from home, but this is their second home. Like for me, I wouldn't trade Newfoundland and Labrador for nowhere in Canada.
Nowhere.
I've been to other provinces and I'm like, this is not my place. But I enjoy being in this province, and I welcome other Jamaicans, other Caribbeans, other persons from all over the world to come into Newfoundland and Labrador. There are help here because we're not limited to only Jamaicans and the Caribbeans. But if, for instance, you come from, say, Japan and you need help, help is here. So we are looking at things on a wide scale to help as much as we can, to help with the retention here in Newfoundland and Labrador, because that's one of the most important things here.
Yeah, it feels like we're all trying to build something together. Right?
Mhm.
And to
Stronger
build
together.
and to build
Building a legacy.
Yeah.
That's the theme of our gala.
Oh, really? I know that's in my notes somewhere, but I'm just like, that's great.
We can't forget the parties, though, right? So that's why we're kicking off this launch with not just a Facebook post or something. We have to throw a party, because when Jamaicans get together, it's always a party, right?
So what's a Jamaican party like?
Maybe Natasha should give the perspective.
Sure. Go on, Natasha. What's a Jamaican party like?
Man. Yeah, it depends on kind of who's in the group, we'll say, right? But it's always a mix. Again, food is like the cornerstone of everything. There's always food of some sort, maybe some drinks, dancing, DJs, games, conversation. There's always something to do. It's always very lively, and it's always good vibes.
All right. Okay, I like good vibes. Anyone else on Jamaican partying?
Just fun. Like if you're into fun, like really good music and you want to learn a few dance moves, you need to come to a Jamaican party. We are good with the dancing. We are good with the music. We have a vibe. We are very friendly. The food is always top tier. It's one of the most important parts of our culture. And you cannot afford to miss the gala, because we will have DJ Blanco as one of the DJ there. And I'm sure he's going to bring it, and the dance floor will be open. Nobody will be staring at each other. We all will be dancing and doing our Jamaican, movement. So, yeah.
And what type of food is at a party?
It depends on the focus. So, for one, we are two things that are at major events. So when you think of major life events, like a funeral, a wedding, a birthday party, that sort of thing, we always have the goat. So there's going to be curried goat, and there's going to be what we call manish water. We won't tell you why we call it manish water, but it's goat soup.
Yeah.
And so, of course, we're going to have that at our gala on Saturday, in addition to other things that many Newfoundlanders know, like, the jerk chicken and the rice and peas and that sort of thing, the fritters. So all the things you miss from your honeymoon trip to Jamaica. Yes, we'll have that, but it's not just food, because we're not the type to just have a meal and sit around and talk. We are going to have our board games, because once we gather, we're not just competitive on the track for Olympics. We're competitive around the board games. So we'll have a culture corner. We'll have supervised activities for the children. So it is a family event. So we have child care, you said early childhood professionals, educators who are there to supervise our children, make sure they have their own activities.
You even have people to take care of the kids at the party. That's
Listen,
amazing. Like that is well planned.
Do you know what it's like to be all dressed up and your kid knocks over the juice on the table? Or someone decides they don't like the fact that their chicken is touching the rice, and then there's a whole tantrum, and no, we don't want any of our guests to be flustered or nervous. A lot of people, and we know that as foreigners, we don't have the nan and the pop to leave our kids with. So we have to think of what's going to stop someone like me from coming to an event, because I don't have childcare. But if I know I show up and there's specialized kids activities, then I'm going to feel more comfortable sitting down and having a good time.
Yeah. Enjoying the DJ.
Yes.
Having some goat, enjoying it all with the kids taken care of.
Yes.
Is it easier to get goat here now than it used to be? Has that changed?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, how easy is it?
Especially this year. A lot of goat announcements have been made in the WhatsApp group this year.
Yeah, so again, this is the flavor of conversation I've been wondering about. Because, like, I remember years ago, I volunteered. We're talking like a long 16 years ago, maybe. I volunteered at the Association for New Canadians, and I remember there was a gentleman there who wanted goat, and everyone was like, Not sure how to help you there with that one, and I don't know if he ever did get his goat. How has that evolved? If so, on the WhatsApp group, everyone's like, "Hey, goat."
CBS is a place like a lot of the Africans, especially, they will go to CBS and they will kill a goat and distribute it. And also, Dominion is big on goat meat as well. We can just walk in Dominion and pick up.
There's actually a goat farm here, started by a Nigerian.
Oh, no, I'm familiar with that.
Yes,
And I will say who, and he doesn't like me talking about his name on the air when it comes to this, so I will do him the favor of
That's
not.
why
but
I
yes,
didn't say it either.
Exactly. We both were like nodding because we know exactly who and where and what.
Yes.
And you have signages, logistics. They will bring it in for you too from Ontario.
Yes.
Which Dominion? Is it all of them?
All of them.
Yes.
So far, mainly Mount Pearl.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I need to pay more attention.
Yes.
We're giving you all the secrets.
Yeah, I'm just like writing it down.
Leave some of the goat meat for us, please.
Yeah, you see me, I'll be walking by Didan at Dominion, give me side eyes. I've got like a bunch of goat. Like, did you take it all? I'm like, no.
Oh, gosh.
You are listening to The Signal. I'm Adam Walsh. If you've got thoughts on today's show or any show, The Signal at cbc.ca. The text line is open, 709-327-8206. Today on the show, we're talking about the launch of the province's NL's Jamaican Association with a big gala launch this weekend. And the in-betweens on today's conversation, we're highlighting the building blocks of community, which we talk about often on this show. And this is a great case study to talk about how to get an association up and running, what it means, the connections it has. So like I said, The Signal at cbc.ca if you want to dart us a note. You've been listening to Didan Wedderburn, who's here, Olivia Newland-Johnson. We've got Tricia-Gaye Pinnock and Natasha Sutherland all with me here in the studio. And yes, we've been talking a little bit about goat and other bits and bobs. Can I ask a question? We say Jamaican and other like folks from Caribbean countries. What are the relationships like within the community? Like, what is, because I just think for a Newfoundland example, it's like looking at Cape Breton. Sometimes, right? There's like, they're like Newfoundlanders that got lost on the way to the mainland is the old joke. You feel a kinship, but it's not exactly identical. What's that relationship like just for the region?
Well, for me, because I've hopped around the globe a little bit.
You've been around to a couple of places.
Then I think I have adapted a little bit more than maybe another Jamaican to finding connection with people who are from the Caribbean region. But what a lot of people don't know is in the same way that you have the European Union, you have CARICOM, which stands for CARICOM Community. So we have a long history of our federation of the Caribbean nations. So we grew up knowing that these are our distant cousins. These are our siblings. We had to learn about the other nations and our university. So here Newfoundland has Memorial, but in the Caribbean we have University of the West Indies, the old name for the Caribbean, the West Indies. And so we have campuses in Jamaica, campuses in Barbados, and in Trinidad. So there's a lot of mingling and moving of people. So we've had those connections. Everyone knows a Jamaican who is living in some other Caribbean nation. And so we have our carnival and bacchanal that we all jump in. And so it's when we come here, we find more understanding and connection and relatability to them than to someone from another part of the world.
Yeah. So then what's the reaction been from the Caribbean community to the launch of the association? I mean, I'm assuming it's like, hey, this is great. There's another association helping out. This is awesome.
They're excited. I've met a young lady from Trinidad recently at an event that I host, and everybody's excited. The fact that there's something Caribbean related is going on, it's a big deal. And our music and our culture is big in other Caribbean countries. Their music is dancehall mainly as well, just like Jamaica, reggae.
And we love the soca. And
the soca. So it's like we dominate the space when it comes to music, and everybody, it's like, as Didan mentioned, it's family. So we don't see them as another country, another culture. It's like one, especially when we meet in a foreign country, we are together. There's no distance between us. So everybody's pumped and ready for the association.
The Guyanese, the St. Lucians, the Trinis, the Bajans, the Bahamians, the Belizeans, everyone. And it's not just that they're in the group, because they're in the WhatsApp group as well. They show up to the events.
How big is this WhatsApp group? Like thousands of people.
And they're performing. So we have Chanel Roll, famous Bahamian vocalist here in Newfoundland. She'll be performing, bringing the Bahamian flavor to our dinner segment. We have the they used to be called the Black Heritage Choir. Now they're called the Rebirth Gospel Choir. And what a lot of people don't know is that there are a lot of Caribbean people on that choir. So they're bringing the Jamaican, the Caribbean vibe, performing for us. So yes, everyone is showing up. And we can't forget that we're paying honor to some of the Jamaicans who have been here a long time, some of the Caribbean people who have been making significant contributions to our province. So it's not just launching to say, hey, we're here, but we have to say, people have been here doing the work for a while that we are in a position to launch. So we'll be honoring people who have made significant impact in the area of skills trades, the provincial police force, in media and entertainment. We're bringing spotlight to them to say, we see you. We have been blazing the trail so we can follow behind you.
You did a radio interview yesterday, right? That's airing today, I think?
Yes. So Caribbean Connections is the source of all Caribbean music and culture for us for years now. Sarojini is the host of that show. She's originally from Guyana. And so she'll be spotlighting it because this has been a dream of hers as well. She has been such a source of connection for everyone who's from the Caribbean. As soon as someone's like, oh, I'm here, they point you to Sarojini. She hosts holiday events so that we're not lonely. Because, Christmas is here, this different times of celebration. And if you are here by yourself, you're like, you don't know where to go and what to do. Sarojini will open her home, her family, introduce you to new people. So that's the vibe of the Caribbean. And that's the vibe of Newfoundlanders, right?
And all, the island bits connected. And I think does Sarojini's show air at 1 p.m. today?
1 p.m.
So when you're done listening to this, turn on CHMR and the conversation continues. And Sarojini is a fantastic host with a fantastic show. And it's worth your while, browsing in for her shows because she's fantastic.
Yes, yes.
And she's been on the show before too. So she's great. We're again, I asked about the, this weekend and the big launch. And we've talked about other events when it comes to the association. But looking ahead, how many, into the run of a year, what are they to keep up these to keep up the connections and everyone in the association community? How many events do you see kind of you guys pushing through the run of things now that you're up and running?
So we will continue to have our annual park event every year. Also, we'll have workshops to help with persons coming in to get settled in the province. We will also maybe have our jerk fest. You know, you never know. We have big things coming up. Just as we will meet together and we will plan our different events, yes.
Yeah.
So we're fully loaded.
Fully
loaded.
Fully loaded. Jerk, yeah, and to go to Jerk Fest sounds like it would be rather delicious.
That was the big topic in the WhatsApp group yesterday after the regatta. People are like, the only thing missing was a jerk joint.
Yeah. Because I think they're used to. There was a few years ago. There was a Jamaican one that was there. That was I remember because like the growth of the regatta when it comes to the food availability in recent years has been spectacularly significant, and including there's been in the past there's been a Jamaican table, which has been great to see. Yeah. Right, as stuff again expands and things change, right? Natasha, how's your family feeling now about this weekend? And I mean, sponsoring aside, but like, what's the family conversation like about the gala?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's excited, right? So we recently, as I mentioned previously, adopted my husband's 13-year-old nephew, and I think it's important for him to be able to be around people of his own culture, of, you know, his mother's culture. And then even for my own daughter, like she's young, she's 19 months, so she doesn't quite understand. But kind of like Didan mentioned previously, right? Like part of my motivation, most of my motivation came from the fact that I want my children and my husband to have that familiarity, to be able to grow up in the culture and, you know, have that. And especially like my children, they're biracial. So it's, I think, even more important because they're living here. So they kind of get that side of things, but then they also need to know their roots from that side. So it's very exciting. And for me, like I mentioned, you know, growing up in the Jamaican communities, I'm excited to play some dominoes and just kind of hang out. It's been a minute. I haven't played in a long time. I'm a little rusty, but just having, you know, those good vibes again and being able to be at the party and listen to the music. Like since moving here, it's something I've missed as well. So quite excited for that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing for parents. Like I know quite a few biracial families, and just folks looking at, okay, there's the culture of where you're living, there's the culture of this parent, the culture of another parent, and then trying to figure out how to make sure that the kids are getting the full dose of everything, you know, to stay connected, to feel like Didan, you were saying earlier, you know, like going to school, not feeling isolated, having the culturally appropriate food there. Because the stories that I've heard when we do this show of like I grew up in the 80s, right? So growing up in the 80s, and anyone, this is back when if you were, someone who is BIPOC in Newfoundland and Labrador, and you were going to school and you're bringing perhaps food from your culture, you were isolated with that. And now it's a completely different story. But the stories from back then of folks growing up, it would be feeling othered, you know. And now with something like an association, a Jamaican association, and folks to get that help and to not feel isolated and alone. I mean, it's such a big thing, right? It's such a big development.
Something that can happen for kids when they grow up outside of their parents' country of origin is that they visit that country or call to relatives, their grandparents, and they can't understand anything anyone is saying.
Yeah.
But when we have gatherings where they can regularly interact with other adults and children who speak Jamaican patois, then when they visit the grandparents or the grandparents talk to them, they can respond like, oh yeah, Grandma, I know what you're saying. You know, that sort of, and that makes you proud.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's super important.
So what's it like to go back, like for living here for 11 years and to go back to Jamaica? Like, do you feel, what's that like?
Going back to Jamaica after being here for 11 years, I'm a tourist in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So it's just like getting enough of the food that I haven't had here. So I'll be having my fruits where I can just go and pick off the tree and have it, wash it and have it. So it's mostly like that for me being back home. I'll go and go at Elsha, go eat my fish and festival, go to the waterfalls, stuff like that.
So how does the concept of home change then for you? Because here's home, right?
Yeah.
There is still home, but it's a different home.
It changes a lot.
Yeah.
I would say a lot in the sense that, like when I was back home in Jamaica, a hot day, the beach is there. You go there, you know you can enjoy the water. But here, can't run that risk. Ice is somewhere under the bottom, trying to still figure out how am I going to be thawed out, right? So really, of a fact, it's really a big difference when I go back home compared to here.
Yeah. Olivia, so 2 years here. What about yourself? Just thinking of Jamaica, but then the life you're building here.
It's a bit different because I love, even though I'm not the best swimmer, I miss the river, like that water, the waterfalls, driving from Montego Bay to Portland, enjoying nature. Like, I miss that part of it. I used to say I miss the sun when it's winter time, but I don't know if I miss the sun anymore because this summer it has been so hot. Sometimes I'm like, oh God, I can't believe I'm from Jamaica because I'm burning up. But I do miss family and friends and the vibes and all of that. So
yeah,
I'm going home sometimes too, for a short time. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. And Didan is someone who's lived around a bunch of everywhere. How do you take all of those concepts of where home can be and what it means, and then to have your roots, but then the life that you're building, and also with the community that you're helping to build?
I have to admit that when I think of home, it's here in St. John's.
Yeah.
I like to say home is where you pay taxes.
And gosh, do we ever.
When I lived in Japan and that's where my taxes went, that was home.
That was home, yeah.
And so it doesn't feel odd because something someone listening may not know is that the population in Jamaica is like 3 million. But the population of Jamaicans outside of Jamaica is also 3 million. This is like UN research. They went and checked, and yes, so we have the same amount of Jamaicans living outside of the country as we do in the country. And so every Jamaican has a relative living in some foreign country. So in that way, I don't feel like, oh, I have let go of my roots, or because home can be Turks and Caicos because my cousins are there.
Yeah.
It can be St. Martin because I have more cousins there. They're all over the place, Switzerland, wherever it is, France, wherever. So home can be many places. It's with the people.
Do you have a separate WhatsApp group for these cousins?
No, it would be hard to get all of them together. But yeah, for sure, we're scattered all over the globe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And Natasha, question for you. Wait, 2-3 minutes left. With your family, what you talked about as a teenager, right? Having friends from Jamaica, the diaspora, growing up. Now it's with your family. Boning up on culture and feeling part of a culture. What's that like as a young mom? And because there's always stuff like, for my wife being Korean, I feel very connected to South Korean, to Korean culture. But then there's also a sea of stuff that I don't feel connected to because I don't know yet. Like every time we go back to Korea, there's something I'm like, why haven't I had this dish before? I've been going to this place for 20 odd years, or a part of the culture that I'm just understanding. So what's that like for yourself?
I mean, for me, I've always embraced it. And I think because it's been like, I was so young when I started meeting, friends from that community. Like I've had people from the Caribbean in my life for longer than I haven't. So you kind of pick things up and learn. And for me, I take everything with an open mind. I know I'm not the expert by any means in anything. So I think it's just important to be like a listener, right?
Yeah.
So just having that open mind, embracing it, being a listener, understanding where things are important, because you're always going to make some missteps while you're learning a new culture and learning new things.
Totally.
But yeah, I think you embrace it. You go into it and just keep your mind open.
Yeah, and playing that allyship role, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Give us the reminder on this on the gala. What are the deets for people who may still want to get tickets with this thing with childcare and everything? So what is it?
Eventbrite. You can find our tickets on Eventbrite.
jcanl.eventbrite.com. You can also find our Facebook page. It's Jamaican Canadian Association of Newfoundland and Labrador. Our website, jcanl.ca.
And you're on Instagram too?
Instagram is Jamaicans Living in NL.
That's where I follow. That's where I was getting the details on all
yes.
this. Okay.
So hop on any of those platforms. You'll find a link to get your ticket. Don't miss out. You will want to be able to say, I was there when it happened.
Yeah. It's going to be too late. Too late.
And what's the thing we're most looking forward to? Well, give me one moment of this for this weekend of what you're like, something you personally are really looking forward to with it.
Food, dance. Food and dance.
Well, that's two things, but I'll let it go. That's two
They're
things.
together.
Well, I'll say the vibes.
Vibes, yeah. And what's a description of vibes for this?
I mean, the games, talking to different people from different culture,
Yeah,
the
vibes.
The vibes.
The vibes. I'm with you. That's great.
I'm going to go with community. So just meeting more people from the community and making those relationships.
Amazing.
I'm looking forward to seeing the kids perform. The Jamaican children from the community will be performing. We have some Bob Marley tunes, and they'll be kicking up a storm, we call it, right?
Well, that sounds excellent.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this.
Yes.
Appreciate the chat.
Thanks for having us.
All right, folks, that is it for today's show. Thoughts on the show, emails, thesignal@cbc.ca. You can also call the Signal line and leave a message, which we will play on a later show, 709-576-5260. Let me see, tomorrow is Friday, and it's the first Friday of the month, which means one thing, everyone. John Gushu will be my guest for Trivia Day. It's the monthly thing we do, a way to escape from the news and the headlines. It's a stress-free hour of radio, although this was also a stress-free hour of radio, which is fantastic. We will also have books to give away tomorrow as prizes to a couple of lucky competitors/listeners. Anyways, thanks for listening, folks. We'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.